Monday afternoon. It's already 1:30. Okay, hang on here. I got to get my volume up. How's everybody doing? I'm just popping on here because it's been a while. I haven't been live, and I just thought I'd bring you guys some tips and tricks before you start your makeup. So this is just some simple stuff that I do kind of on the daily or as needed that could help you with maybe some of the issues you're having. So I want to go over a few things. First thing is, you guys have heard me say it a million times. I'm not going to go over it. Pore primer. I always use pore primer. I'm a large pore girl. So I find that pore primer really helps to seal my skin, and it just makes the finish of my makeup that much nicer. Makeup is not going to minimize pores. So if you're looking for makeup if you put makeup on and you feel like your pores are just accentuated, you could be using makeup that's a little bit too light for your skin. But if you're a large pore girl, your pores are not going to be covered from makeup. So if you struggle with that, definitely a pore primer. I have lots of them listed on my Amazon storefront that I like. I've used quite a few. This is one of my favorites, is the Benefit pore primer. I like it because, and I will show you here, it is tinted. Okay. So the consistency is really nice for me. It works great. It works good under my cream makeup. I have no issues with it whatsoever, but it just helps to, seal down those holes. Like, I don't know, how do you word it? It's like you're kind of filling them in, right? So to speak. So that works really, really well. That's my first tip and trick. Okay. My second one is I'm going to use this product called Nano Blur. So again, you can find this on my Amazon storefront. I'm just going to use a little dab of this, and I'm going to use this around my lips. And I just kind of tap it through. So if you getting little lines around your lips is part of the aging process. Like, you get those due to aging, you get those due to dehydration, you get them for multiple reasons. Smokers tend to get a lot of lines around their lips. I just find that this product is great in the sense that it just kind of camouflages those for me a little bit. This actual Indeed Nano Blur product is great on pores as well. So what it'll do is you can use it on fine lines and wrinkles. It's a blurring cream, is literally what it is. So there's like creams out there for everything, people, honestly, and don't think that, people are using them. Even girls with perfect skin are using all kinds of like prepping products before they start their makeup. Anyhow, if you're looking for something to just blur imperfections, kind of smooth things out, a blurring cream is great. That is my second tip. And again, this is the product Nano Blur. There's tons of blurring creams out on the market, and I have used quite a few others. But those are just a couple that I think are really good. Another great trick I have that I use, because I am kind of a combination skin. I used to be much more oily in my younger days, but as I've aged, dehydration, that kind of thing. So I'm more of a combination skin. So another great trick that you can use is use your setting spray prior to starting your makeup. So I've got my damp beauty blender here. Okay, I'm going to just spray it with my setting spray. So if you're somebody that's really like oily in the T-zone, tap that area out with your setting spray, just gently. You're not using a ton. And this is really going to help to adhere the makeup to your skin. It's a great trick that's used by many. Like, even if you aren't oily, there is a lot of women that will use this trick just for better hold of the makeup. So setting spray is not something that you always have to use at the end of your makeup routine. However, I highly recommend, it doesn't matter what kind of makeup you're using, honestly. Setting spray for cream makeup is amazing. And everybody should be using setting spray or something to set their makeup, whether it's powder, setting spray, both, doesn't matter. But it's a great fundamental. Doesn't matter what kind of makeup you're using. That's a great tip and trick. The other thing is that if you have like a blemish area, like for me, I've got this little pimple here on the middle of my forehead. Actually, my skin is fairly good right now, surprisingly. Another great trick is to just take your setting spray and dab it right onto that area that you really want to conceal. Or even just take your setting spray on your finger and tap and let it dry on there. The makeup's gonna hold that much better. That's a great trick as well. Some women use that around their nose. Some women will even use that, believe it or not, around the eye area. That's questionable. I mean, you don't want to, I think you want a little more movement around the eye area, but women have used it in that area as well. So if you need extra coverage, think about using your setting spray prior to starting your makeup. Great tricks. The other couple things I wanted to go over with you guys. Oh my gosh, this brush is so dirty. Okay, hang on. Let me find another one. Oh my gosh. And I don't even have anything to clean with. So you know what? I'm just going to have to go for it. So I want to go over these two brushes with you. These two brushes are from Saint. I use only Saint brushes when I do my makeup. They make the best brushes. I will tell you, hands down, love their brushes. Great quality. They stand the test of time. Look after your brushes. Use your brush cleaner. Keep them clean. Once a week is really all you need. There are some women that will literally clean their brushes every time they use them. And hey, kudos to you. I don't have that kind of time. If you're the only one using your brush, really once a week is sufficient. But I want to go over these two brushes because the Buff brush, this is not a brush I use on a regular basis. However, if you want maximum coverage, if you've got areas that you really need to camouflage, like if you're going in and, you want maximum coverage, you're going to want to use your Buff brush. Okay. It is the densest brush we carry. Okay. The denser the bristles, which is like the harder, not harder, but the tighter, the less movement, the more coverage you're going to get. Like compare that to something like the blush bronzer brush, right? This big fluffy end, to apply your foundation with that, you're going to get minimal coverage, right? Honestly, I use my blush bronzer brush, but I use the small end, which is much denser. I like this brush for the coverage I need. I like a light to medium coverage, and it's a brush that I recommend a lot to mature women. So if I've color matched you, it is probably a brush that I've recommended. But I want to show you the Buff brush, and I want to show you the blend brush. So this is another one of, this is my dirty brush, so I apologize. I would clean it, but I don't even have like a towel or anything here. So we're just going to roll with it. The blend brush is a brush that I use on the daily. This is our lightest application brush. Okay. So these are on different spectrums. If you would like a really light coverage, like if you're just looking to, polish out your skin, you don't want a lot of makeup on, then this is the brush you're going to want to use. I love this brush for detail work. I use this for all my pop colors. So when I'm doing between my brows, around my eyes, when I'm doing that pop highlight color, this is the brush that I will use. And that's not to say that you can't use any of the other brushes. You certainly can. This is just my personal preference. So I'm just going to show you guys here. I'm just going to go in with the Buff brush and show you the kind of coverage that I get from the Buff brush. I'm going to do the Buff brush on this side of my face. So I'm going to use the color, this is Hazel, I believe. Yeah, okay. There's the amount of makeup that I'm using. And I'm just going to start down here, okay? And you guys see how I'm just kind of applying that color all over my face, and then I will go through and blend it through. Okay, so this is using the Buff brush, and the coverage that you're going to get from this brush is going to be much better and heavier than what you would get from any of the other brushes in our collection. I'm using the small end. I don't know why I was using the small end. Okay, but with cream makeup, honestly, and when I'm color matching people and I'm walking them through their color match video, and I'm showing them what it is that they're going to be doing on their skin. I try to always explain just how well this cream makeup is going to blend and how well it like dissipates into the skin. Like, you can't explain it. You have to use it in order to know, because it really does. Like, I'm thoroughly impressed with how well this makeup blends, and how well, or like how you don't look like you have anything on, you know what I mean? But yet the coverage is there. So don't forget that you can go in, okay, and you can reapply, right? So if you need more coverage, pick up more product. But here's the thing, less is more. So I always encourage my clients to go in with less and then build on it if you need to, okay? So this is the buff brush, the coverage that you're going to get from the buff brush. And here's another great trick for you too, guys. If you feel like the makeup is a little too cool, or your skin isn't warm enough, sometimes in the winter we struggle with that, where the temperature of our skin is very cold, or our makeup itself could be cold, and you're struggling with getting it to blend. Simply use, I was going to pick up my brush cleaner. Simply use your setting spray and spray your brush. Okay. And then start blending. And that's really going to make it a lot easier. Not only that, but the makeup is really going to adhere to the skin really, really well. Okay. So I hope that that explains coverage to you guys. And like, look, if I wanted more coverage, I would just simply go in and put on more product, right? Use the same brush, put on more product. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to go in with my blend brush, and I'm just going to sweep into my product here. And with my blend brush, I'm simply just going to feather the product all over my skin. And I am picking up such a little amount of product, honestly, guys. And I'm going to tell you the truth. It really depends on how my skin is acting that day, how much coverage I really want to go for. Because my skin varies, okay, all the time. Some days I might wake up and have like a million problems going on with my skin. And then other days, like today, for instance, which is surprising, I don't really have a lot of issues going on with my skin. And so I can get away with just this nice little, you know, light coating of makeup. And I don't know if you guys can tell here or not. Like, I don't know if the lighting's good enough for you guys or not. But so this is a fuller coverage with my buff brush. Same color. I've used the same color here, okay? And this is the lighter coverage. You look at how much more natural this looks. And it really depends on what you want out of your makeup. So I really wanted to explain that to you, why your brush is so important, why when I'm color matching you, when you tell me the coverage you want or what you're looking for, why it's important that the recommended brushes are essential for part of your makeup routine. It really, really is. And I think what I have found in color matching hundreds of women so far is that I think that women that like makeup and are used to makeup go for more of a medium coverage because they feel like they have so much to cover up, right? And I sometimes feel like with our cream makeup, because it does such a beautiful job evening out your complexion, that sometimes you don't maybe need the coverage that you thought you needed. And moving into the summer and spring, honestly, less is better, right? I mean, we're more exposed to some pigmentation on our skin. We're warmer, so we're more flushed. You're hot. So you don't want your makeup, you know, heavy. And so anyhow, I usually recommend two brushes. I always recommend the blend brush because this is the brush that I use to brighten and, you know, brighten the face. And when I say brighten the face, of course, if you guys have gotten color matched, you know that brightening the face which is what I'm doing right now, I'm adding the lighter color to my face. This is why I like the little blend brush for this reason. It's the perfect size. It does a great job of putting on the right amount of makeup, because your brightener is so much lighter than your overall foundation color. You don't want to get super aggressive. Like I always tell women, you know, be careful with it. You need to be able to see your brightener, but you don't need a lot of it. I always feel like your brightener color, your brightener highlight color is going to last you probably a little bit longer than your main highlight, simply because you're just not using as much product. And you need such a little amount of it, right? So you guys can see here, here's my brightener. But this is why this little blend brush is so amazing. It's my favorite. And different artists will have different variations as to what they like. And a lot of women will say to me, oh, well, I watched so-and-so and she said this and she said that. That's the beauty of what we do. Everybody does things a little bit different, and so will you. So take everything that you learn and, you know, try it and see what works for you. But that's my take on it. So I love having the choice of going in with a heavier coverage and a lighter coverage. So I hope that brings some clarity to what the brushes will do for you. I always recommend too, especially with mature skin, that you use your damp beauty blender at any point during your makeup application. Just simply tap it through. It's a great tool for picking up excess. Well, that was quite a bit. No, really? I don't see that much, but in the camera, it looks like a lot. And just pressing in and really making you feel like your makeup is completely blended. I love a beauty blender. That's a great tip. Make sure it's fully saturated and that you've got all the water out of it. Your makeup sponge should actually expand. When you saturate, like when you put it under the water, make sure it's fully, you know, it expands fully, it's full of water, and then get all the excess out. And that is how you want to use your beauty blender. And once you start using a beauty blender, honestly, you're going to love it. But here's another thing, and this is probably one of my final tips here for you guys. Your beauty blender is not meant to, I don't recommend anyhow that you use it and you pull and you swipe with your beauty blender. Use the stippling technique, and stippling is going to be your best friend, especially if you're a mature skin girl. But stippling, doesn't matter what age you are, it is a great technique. Always stipple with your sponge. And if you're going to use your blush bronzer brush, which is a brush that I highly recommend when you're doing your all over makeup application, you're going to stipple with that as well. So those are my few beauty tips that work for me, that I find help me in my makeup application. I hope that they help you too. The last and final tip that I'll give you is, once you've got your makeup on and you're good to go, and you need to set it. I keep picking at my brush cleaner for setting spray. And you need to set your makeup at the end. You can do this one of three ways. So you can either spray it on the face. Now, I always say, don't like get super close. You want to like hold your spray far enough away. I do find that the Saint spray is, it's got a good spray on it. And it's not a dry spray. So if you're going to spray far enough away. What I like to do personally is I like to spray my sponge, and then I like to tap my sponge all over my face really, really quickly, and just tap in all my makeup that way. The other thing that you can do is actually spray your face and then just use your sponge to press it all in. Completely up to you. And like I said, ladies, it's all, you know, you will find what works best for you. So don't be afraid to try and go from there. Oh my gosh, I'm just a mess here. Anyhow, okay, I hope you guys find that helpful. Those are my tips of the day. Have a great Monday, and we will talk to you guys soon. Ciao for now. Bye.